Have you ever felt like something in your life just isn't right? Like no matter how hard you try, you keep hitting the same wall? Maybe it's a relationship that keeps falling apart, a job you can't hold on to, or a fear that won't let you go. I've been there. I remember a time when I felt like I was drowning in failure, and I couldn't figure out why. It was like an invisible force was holding me back, whispering lies like, "You'll never be enough. You're a disappointment." And the scariest part, I started to believe it. But what if I told you that there's one sin, one hidden sin, that demons are using to control your life right now? A sin so subtle, yet so dangerous, that it opens the door for the enemy to wreak havoc, and they don't want you to know about it. Hi, I'm Eli from LWN, and today we're diving into a terrifying revelation from C.S. Lewis that will change the way you see your struggles forever. But before we uncover this life-changing truth, I need you to take a stand. Hit that like button, subscribe to LWN, and don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss a message that could set you free. Then, declare your faith in the comments by writing, "Lord, I'm ready to break free." This simple act will send a powerful signal to the heavens, amplifying the impact of this revelation in your life. At LWN, our mission is to carry the message of the Bible to the next generation, and your subscription can help us in this divine calling. If you're truly ready to confront the enemy's schemes, stay with me, because what I'm about to share might just shake you to your core. Let me tell you about Rachel, a 42-year-old schoolteacher who loved the Lord with all her heart. She had a warm smile, a cozy home, and a daughter named Emily, who was her whole world. But lately, Rachel's life felt like it was falling apart. Her marriage had ended years ago, leaving her with a bitterness she couldn't shake. She'd been passed over for a promotion at work, and just last month, she lost her best friend in a car accident. Every night, she'd sit on her couch, staring at the walls, feeling a heaviness she couldn't explain. "Why does this keep happening to me?" she'd whisper to herself. "I pray, I go to church. Why do I feel so stuck?" One evening, as Rachel was helping Emily with her homework, the phone rang. It was her ex-husband, Mark, calling to say he'd be late to pick up Emily for the weekend. Again. Rachel's heart raced with anger. "You're always late, Mark. You never cared about us," she snapped, hanging up before he could respond. But as soon as she did, a wave of guilt washed over her. She looked at Emily, who was quietly drawing at the table, and felt a pang in her chest. That night, Rachel had a dream, a dark, unsettling dream. She saw a shadowy figure standing in the corner of her room, its eyes glowing red, whispering, "You'll never be free." She woke up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding. Was this just a dream, or was something darker at work? Rachel couldn't shake the feeling that the enemy was targeting her, and she was right. You see, demons don't attack us randomly. They look for an open door, a weakness they can exploit. And C.S. Lewis, in his book, The Screwtape Letters, warned us that the enemy's favorite weapon isn't always the obvious sins we think of, like lust or greed. It's something far more subtle, something we might not even realize we're holding on to. For Rachel, that open door was a sin she didn't even know she was carrying, a sin that was giving demons the power to control her life. What could it be? What is this one sin that the enemy uses to keep us in chains? And why are demons so desperate to keep it hidden? I want you to think about your own life for a moment. Is there something you're holding on to? Something that's been weighing on your heart? Maybe it's a grudge, a hurt, or a secret shame. Write, "I feel stuck," in the comments below, and let's start this journey together. Because trust me, what you're about to discover will shake you to your core, and it might just set you free. Rachel sat up in bed, her heart still racing from that haunting dream. The image of that shadowy figure with glowing red eyes lingered in her mind, and those words, "You'll never be free," echoed like a cruel taunt. She glanced at the clock. It was 3 a.m. The house was silent, but the heaviness in the air felt alive, pressing down on her. Rachel knew something was wrong, something deeper than just a bad dream. She whispered a quick prayer, "Lord, please show me what's happening," and reached for her Bible on the nightstand. As she flipped through the pages, her eyes fell on Matthew 6:15. "But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins." Her breath caught in her throat. Forgiveness. Could that be the key? Was there something, or someone, she hadn't forgiven? That's when it hit her. The one sin demons were using to control her life was unforgiveness. You see, the enemy knows that unforgiveness is a silent poison. It's not loud like anger or obvious like pride. It festers quietly in your heart, creating a crack that demons can slip through. C.S. Lewis wrote in the Screwtape letters that demons love to exploit unforgiveness because it keeps us focused on our pain, not on God's grace. Let the humans stew in their resentment, he wrote from the perspective of a demon. It blinds them to the enemy, that is, to God, and makes them ours. Rachel realized she'd been holding on to bitterness for years. Bitterness toward Mark for leaving her, toward her boss for overlooking her, even toward God for taking her best friend. That unforgiveness wasn't just hurting her, it was giving the enemy a foothold in her life. The Bible shows us how dangerous unforgiveness can be. In Matthew 18, Jesus tells the parable of the unforgiving servant. A man owed his master a huge debt, millions of dollars, but the master forgave him completely. Yet, that same servant refused to forgive a small debt someone else owed him. When the master found out, he was furious. "You wicked servant," he said. "I cancelled all that debt of yours because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servant, just as I had on you?" And in anger, the master handed him over to the jailers to be tormented. Jesus ends the story with a chilling warning. "This is how my heavenly Father will treat each of you unless you forgive your brother or sister from your heart." That torment, that's what unforgiveness does. It hands us over to the enemy, letting demons torment us with guilt, fear, and despair. For Rachel, this revelation was like a punch to the gut. She thought about all the times she'd replayed Mark's betrayal in her mind, each memory fueling her anger. She thought about the resentment she held toward her boss, and the quiet bitterness she felt toward God for her friend's death. She'd been carrying this weight for so long, she didn't even realize how heavy it had become. But now, she saw it clearly. Her unforgiveness was the open door the enemy had been using to control her. That dream wasn't just a nightmare. It was a warning. The enemy knew she was getting close to the truth, and he was desperate to keep her in chains. Rachel knelt by her bed, tears streaming down her face. "Lord, I've been so wrong," she whispered. "I've held on to this pain, and it's been destroying me. Please help me let it go." She started to pray for Mark, for her boss, for herself. "I forgive them, Father," she said, her voice trembling. "I release this bitterness to you." As she prayed, she felt something shift, like a chain breaking inside her. The heaviness in the room began to lift, and for the first time in years, Rachel felt a glimmer of freedom. But the enemy wasn't done with her yet. There was one more step she needed to take. One final act that would not only set her free, but also turn the tables on the demons who had tormented her for so long. What could it be? How do you take back the power the enemy has stolen through unforgiveness? I want you to think about someone in your life you might need to forgive. Maybe it's a friend who betrayed you, a family member who hurt you, or even yourself. Write, "I need to forgive," in the comments below, and let's take this step together. Because what you're about to learn next will show you how to not just break free, but to fight back. Rachel sat on her knees, her hands still trembling from the prayer she'd just spoken. "I forgive them, Father," she had said, releasing years of bitterness toward Mark, her boss, and even God. As those words left her lips, she felt a warmth spread through her chest, like a heavy stone had finally been lifted. The air in her room felt lighter, and the oppressive darkness that had lingered for so long seemed to retreat. But as she stood up, wiping the tears from her eyes, she heard a faint whisper in her mind, a voice that wasn't her own. "You think this is over?" it hissed. "You'll never be free." Rachel's heart skipped a beat. She knew the enemy wasn't going to let go without a fight. But she also knew she was onto something powerful enough to make demons tremble. Unforgiveness had been the sin they used to control her, but forgiveness was only the first step. There was one more act that would seal her victory and turn the tables on the enemy for good. That final step was to replace unforgiveness with love, to not just forgive, but to actively bless those who had hurt her. Jesus taught us this radical truth in Matthew 5:44. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. It's not enough to let go of the bitterness. We have to fill that space with God's love, because love is the one thing demons cannot stand. C.S. Lewis wrote in the Screwtape letters that demons despise love because it reflects God's nature. Love draws the human closer to the enemy, that is, to God, he wrote from the demon's perspective. It makes them untouchable to us. When we choose to love and bless those who've wronged us, we're not just closing the door on the enemy, we're slamming it shut and locking it with a power they can't overcome. Rachel knew what she had to do. The next morning, she sat down with a pen and paper and wrote a letter to Mark. "I've been angry with you for so long," she wrote, "but I forgive you. I pray that God blesses you and Emily with joy and peace." She didn't send the letter. She didn't need to. The act of writing it, of choosing to bless instead of curse, was enough. Then she prayed for her boss, asking God to give him wisdom and success. And finally, she prayed for herself, asking God to heal the wounds she'd carried for so long. As she prayed, she felt a peace she hadn't known in years, a peace that surpassed understanding, just as Philippians 4:7 promises. The enemy's whispers faded, replaced by a quiet assurance that she was free. A few days later, something incredible happened. Rachel got a call from her school principal. "We've reconsidered your application for the promotion," he said. "The position is yours if you want it." Rachel couldn't believe it. And that same week, Mark showed up on time to pick up Emily, something he hadn't done in years. He even apologized for his past mistakes, and for the first time, Rachel saw a glimmer of hope for a better relationship between them. Emily noticed the change too. "Mom, you seem happier," she said, her little face lighting up. Rachel smiled, pulling her daughter into a hug. "I am, sweetheart," she said. "I really am." She knew this wasn't a coincidence. When she closed the door on unforgiveness and opened her heart to love, God moved in ways she never thought possible. So, what about you? Is there someone you need to forgive? Someone you need to bless? even if they've hurt you deeply. The enemy wants to keep you trapped in unforgiveness, because he knows it's the one sin he can use to control you. But you have the power to break free. Forgive, yes, but don't stop there. Love your enemies, pray for them, bless them. When you do, demons will flee, and God will move. I want you to take a moment and think of one person you need to bless today. Write, "I will bless," in the comments below, and let's do this together. Then, go pray for that person. Ask God to bless them, and watch what he does in your life. This is Eli from LWN, and I'm so grateful you joined me today. Unforgiveness might be the sin demons use to control us, but forgiveness and love are the weapons that set us free. Keep fighting the good fight, because you're not alone. God is with you, and he's already won the victory. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay strong in faith, and let's keep walking in his love. This next video is handpicked just for you. YouTube knows you'll love it. Or dive into this C.S. Lewis playlist for even deeper wisdom. And hey, don't leave without subscribing. Your journey has just begun.